Even though it's cold and snowy in most of the northern hemisphere right now, January is the perfect time to take care of a few essential garden tasks. That's right, it's January and my gardens are under several inches of snow. But that doesn't mean I'm off the hook until spring. Here's a few of the essential tasks I always take care of in January to make sure that I'm going to have a great year growing ahead. Number one, the first thing I do is plan. Now, planning can mean a lot of different things in your garden, but the three things I like to take care of in January are pretty simple. First, what am I going to grow? I make my list of everything I want to have in my garden this year, top to bottom, every possible plant, whether I'm growing it from seed, whether I'm going to get a transplant from the nursery, I get my list. So knowing what you're going to grow is super helpful for a lot of reasons. One, you can make sure you have all the seeds that you need or plan your budget for buying the plants you need later. But also, it leads into my second favorite planning activity to do in January, which is planning your space. Once you know everything that you want to grow, you need to figure out where. So what I like to do, and what I highly recommend everybody does, is make a drawing, make a little map of your garden. Doesn't have to be fancy. I actually do mine in a spreadsheet and shade the cells to represent my different garden beds so I can easily label what's going to go in each square foot. That's how I do it. You can draw them on paper. It doesn't matter what you do. Just make a little map, figure out your space, especially if you're trying to expand your garden this year. Make sure you take the time now to draw out the possibilities. Save yourself the heartache of when you're ready to kick off your spring garden season, then trying to figure out how am I going to do this? Where's everything going to go? You can plan your space. And once you plan your space, that leads me to my final January planning activity, which is planning your gear. Do you have everything you need? Are you adding more containers? Do you need more pots? Are your tools worn out? Are they in good shape? Do they maybe need to be taken care of? Do an inventory of all your gardening gear. Figure out where you might have a gap that needs to be filled. And then move on to my second favorite activity to do in January, which is shopping for garden deals. So shopping for deals. Why are we doing this in January? Well, I'll tell you, most big box stores and even some online retailers, the start of their garden season is February. You'll start to see stuff in stores for seed starting and other garden activities, usually around Valentine's Day, right after. And so in January, stores are trying to clear out anything they might have left from last year. It's a great time to get deals. You'll be amazed at what you can find, from potting soil to trowels to tools to pots and containers. So much stuff goes on sale. Highly recommend you keep an eye on your big box stores. And I also like to set up a deal alert on a website like Slick Deals for garden tools, or if there's a specific thing I know I need because I just did my inventory, I'll put an alert for that specific tool or product. And then I get alerted. It notifies me, hey, look, here's a great deal. I don't have to go do the hunting all the time. It's a great way to do it. January is the best time, in my opinion, to find really good deals on garden stuff that you might need or just want. 5 or 6 years ago, I found full-size half wine barrel wooden planters at Lowe's for $7 a piece. I only bought 2 because that's what I could fit in my car. Wish I would have gone back with a truck. Great deal. That's the kind of stuff you'll find in January, so keep your eyes peeled. And the third thing that I like to do in January as a gardener is clone my houseplants. So yeah, outside is kind of covered in snow and ice and can't really grow anything, but inside I've got a ton of houseplants. And January is my favorite time to start cloning them so that I have more of my favorites throughout the growing season indoors. Of course, the growing season indoors is year-round, so why do I clone in January? Truth is, I clone several times throughout the year. January is my favorite because I'm usually itching for some garden activity that's more than just planning by now, right? It's been a few months since my garden has been shut down outdoors, and so this gives me a chance to interact with my plants. And cloning is really easy and it's kind of fun. So pretty much I stick to water propagation for when I do my cloning, and that really means you take whatever plant it is, you find a leaf node on the stem, cut below that, put it in some water, change that water once a week, and after a few weeks it'll start putting on roots. Those roots will start to get really full, so you can transfer it to soil or potting mix or whatever your preferred medium is. Put it in a small pot at first, let it establish those roots and get used to growing in media, not just water. And then after maybe a month or two of that, so we're getting into springtime at that point, it's ready to be potted up into its big, beautiful, forever home kind of pot. That's why I start in January. I have snake plants, I have pothos, I have begonias like this one right here. I have dozens of these things all throughout my house. They all started from one single plant of each. Propagating is super easy. If you've never tried it before, it's a lot of fun. You can even get kids involved if you have, young gardeners who are wanting to help out. this is a perfect time to try it. Worst case, you lose a branch or a leaf off one of your plants. You can always try again. They grow back, usually. So those are the 3 garden things I like to focus on in January. It really helps me set up for a great year. I'm going to be putting out a video every month, hopefully closer to the first of the month starting in February, that'll share what I do each month specific to getting my garden ready, getting it started, growing it, harvesting it, and shutting it down. My full 12 months are coming ahead, how I live as a gardener even when it's covered in snow outside. So hit that subscribe button, ring that little bell so you won't miss a video, and give this video a like if you thought it was helpful. I'll be back very soon with another garden video, but please remember, plants help us grow.